Hey, what's up? It's Fugitive Watch. It's Monday, May 19th, right? I think
the 19th.
That's it. Monday night, 2025 with Steve
all
Verdeen.
day.
Yep. Steve Verdeen, retired San Jose police officer, co-founder of Fugitive Watch. I'm Mark Hinch, retired California Highway Patrol. Scott is somewhere gallivanting in Europe.
He's doing Vida Loca or La Dolce Vida or something like that.
We're gonna be looking at some stories at fugitive.com. And I will get this going here right now and get my whole screen here. Let's see, get the audio going. And okay, here we go. And yeah, you can check out the website at fugitive.com where Scott and Steve been doing stuff for years there. All these stories linked there. And then you find me at Stolen 911, a private investigator specializes in theft there. But first off, let's go. San Pablo, we got a local wanted guy. Let's watch this and tell me what's going on there, Steve.
Search underway for a suspected killer. San Pablo police looking for the man they say pulled the trigger during a homicide caught on camera. That shooting has left many in the community rattled as police say that person is armed and dangerous. Now, I do have a warning to give you. The video you're about to see is disturbing. Here's NBC Bay Area's Jody Hernandez.
I think there's no other way of putting it. This was cold-blooded, and it is very brutal. It's not easy to watch at all.
Lieutenant Ravinder Singh describes the bold and callous shooting that left a Richmond man dead. It happened outside the Liquor for Less store on 23rd Street in San Pablo. Surveillance video shows the suspect in a gray hoodie approaching the victim as he exits the store, opening fire on him at point-blank range.
Obviously, it's very disturbing. It is, I can only imagine what the family is going through.
Police have identified the suspect as 25-year-old Juan Vargas of San Pablo.
Steve, he looked like, I think the victim right at that moment realized who it was.
Yeah, it did. In San Pablo is not that big a city. It's kind of a small bedroom community.
I was just there on
is that right?
Friday. I had to drive up there Friday to work in an auto theft case, and I was there visiting a tire shop near the casino. A lot going on up there. I recovered a lot of stolen cars at the casino up there. But yeah, I mean, wow, that guy, obviously they knew each other, I think.
Yeah, I think they had a disagreement earlier.
Yeah, some earlier disagreements. Yeah, okay, all right.
Emmanuel Rodriguez Flores had an earlier confrontation.
We do believe the victim to be the intended target. Early on in the investigation, we learned that the victim and the suspect had a prior encounter, in which we believe led to this homicide.
To be honest, I don't feel safe in San Pablo.
Folks who frequent the shopping center say they aren't surprised. Ida Merlin says she hears gunshots nearly every night.
You never know in which corner somebody come up with a gun.
Unfortunately, this is the times that we live in. You know, it's sad, but it's what it is, man. It's unfortunate.
People need to get out and start saying, look, we're not going to deal with this morality vacuum that we've found ourselves in.
Tonight, police are in need of leads. The shooting took place on March 29th, and the alleged shooter is still on the run. They say his distinct tattoos make him easy to spot, and they're asking the public for help.
We're using all our resources. We're doing everything we possibly can to bring him to justice.
Vargas is considered armed and dangerous. In San Pablo, Jody Hernandez, NBC Bay Area News.
Search underway for a...
So, I mean, obviously they knew each other. Maybe there's some sort of gang thing going on here. Don't know. I don't know if you remember the case we had, the one out of Hollister, we had the family on.
Yes,
a month
I
ago.
do.
You know, there was comments from the suspect's family basically blaming it all on the guy that was murdered. And I don't know what who did what prior to the murder, but one person was murdered, one person was not.
Yeah,
but I thought that was pretty cowardly of the family of the guy to come on and comment. Well, no, it was the guy who got murdered's fault was basically what they were saying.
Yeah, the family. I was on the phone with them for quite a while. Of the suspect's family, one of the family members called me and gave me quite a chewing out.
Oh, really? It just
yeah.
because like we got it all wrong or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the way to handle it, to shoot and kill people, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about the chewing out. I mean, really, what was the?
I get them every once in a while. I've had suspects, actually the actual fugitives, call me and you get it all wrong, you know, and you know, I want to sue you. They always throw that in there. Well, really? I'm going to sue you, you know. And I say, well, you know, I'm just telling the public what the.
It's just your opinion. It's my opinion.
Well, not only that, but I mean, if the law enforcement is asking for the public's help in locating your brother or your whoever your relative is,
right,
take it up with the police department.
Yeah. So, any leads on where he might be?
No, actually, we don't have anything right now. That's why they're asking the public's help, and somebody knows where he's at. Somebody's probably helping him. And if you give us a tip at tips@fugitive.com, we can get the information to the proper law enforcement detective and get this guy so that he can face justice.
Right. So if you need anything, you go to fugitive.com, you go to the give a tip heading there, and then it has all the places you can reach us at 1-800-9-CAUGHT or text it at 408-355-0999.
Right. We also want to remind all of our viewers that everyone featured on any of our platforms are to be considered innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law, and do not make any attempt to arrest, apprehend, or detain them on your own. Law enforcement may consider them to be extremely dangerous. Just send us the information and we'll get it to the proper authorities.
In my opinion, may differ, but it's just my opinion. So you can't sue me for my opinion. I mean,
right, exactly.
You're not going to go anywhere.
Exactly.
And we're retired cops. We no longer, I no longer answer to the Highway Patrol. Steve no longer answers the San Jose PD. We get to say what we want. These are our opinions, our experiences. Look, I'm not saying every victim out there has never done anything wrong. That would be false. I know that, but that's not the answer. Whatever I just saw. So, yeah, interesting. Okay, let's move on. Let's see. Hey, listen, if you want to comment, I know Teresa came on. She was asking why. Hi, Teresa. Thanks for watching. If you want to comment, you could comment in on YouTube or Facebook, and if it's, we'll see if we can pop it up. We'll see if some of our regulars show up tonight. We'll be streaming this and some other stories here for the next hour or so. All right. So make sure you get on there and comment. And like Steve said, please like and subscribe. YouTube is kind of the place to really make all this happen. So we appreciate you guys coming out. Okay, Steve. 51 years ago, I was a little boy. I was living in Redwood City, California, and I heard this, and all of my hippie brothers and sisters around me and stuff. It's kind of the early 70s. And I remember this kidnapping, the SLA.
Oh, the SLA.
Patty Hearst. And I remember the stories and what was going on, and this little kid learning about it. And I can remember they had the videos, and they showed these like hippie looking SLA members, with their glasses and their different hairstyles, and it looked like all my sister's friends.
Yeah. I wasn't much older than Patty Hearst. She was 19, and I was in my early 20s. I wasn't much older than her. I thought she was kind of cute, but it was quite a tale of intrigue going on with her and the SLA.
Let's watch a little bit of this clip, and then we'll get into it. And I actually used to work in LA in Inglewood, where the sporting goods shootout took place, and I used to go by and drive by that all the time, going, oh yeah, I remember seeing this on the news when I was a kid.
Oh, that the North Hollywood shootout?
I think it was down in Inglewood. It was North Hollywood was a different shootout. The Inglewood shootout was them related, the SLA later at a sporting goods store in Inglewood.
Okay.
There's been a big kidnapping on the West Coast. The victim is Patricia Hearst, the daughter of newspaper executive Randolph Hearst and a granddaughter of the legendary William Randolph Hearst.
It was February 1974 when the Symbionese Liberation Army, a self-styled militia, kidnapped publishing heiress Patricia Hearst, a crime that captivated the nation, and took an even more shocking turn when Hearst joined her kidnappers.
I'm beginning to feel that the FBI would rather that I get killed than safely released. I have chosen to stay and fight.
Hearst next showed up on a San Francisco bank surveillance video, participating in a robbery, armed with a semi-automatic weapon. With the $10,000 they stole, the SLA headed.
That was crazy. She was actually, and then this whole story unfolds months later. She's actually one of the suspects, and they're talking about all this brainwashing going on, right? What they got, the Stockholm effect, right? Is that what
Yeah,
they call it?
that became a big that was her defense in trial.
Right. That was nuts.
To Southern California, where they shot up an Inglewood sporting goods store in a bid to get survival supplies.
So I remember the images of the shootout, the layout of the shopping center. And when I was a kid, a few years later, maybe I was 11, I went down with my dad. My dad had a business meeting down there, and it was in Inglewood, and we drove by, and he didn't say anything to me. I just recognized it because I watched so much of it in the news as a kid, and I'm like, Dad, this is that shopping center. And he goes, oh yeah, wow. This is a spot. So then later on in the 90s, I joined the Highway Patrol, and I first got sent to West LA, and one of our areas is Inglewood, and that shopping center was still kind of there up at that point. Now it's been totally remodeled. But I can remember even as an officer, like, oh yeah, this is where the shootout took place and all that stuff. So it was kind of all over. And I don't know what this footage is from, but the best one I saw was the one CNN did about 6 years ago. Where CNN did a whole revision of the case, and they had actually some of the SLA members being interviewed throughout the documentary. And it was pretty informative, what do you think of them or not, but it was nice. I don't know, nice the word. It was cool to have their perspective, or informative to have their perspective, whether you think they're full of shit or not. I mean, they were able to tell you things that maybe the police or the other investigators couldn't tell you, because they were actually some of the kidnappers. Did you see that one on CNN? It was that guy, Jeffy Tubin, they call him.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's a CNN documentary on the SLA on Patty Hearst. It's really good, actually. I should watch it again. Really cool.
The getaway had gone bad.
And the community at that time was about 95% black. And they offered up all kinds of information to our detectives.
Information that led police to 54th and Compton, and to the yellow house with white trim, with the intriguing possibility that Patricia Hearst might be inside. Al Preciado and Ron McCarthy, retired LAPD colleagues, directed the on-scene SWAT response that day 40 years ago. You can see Preciado at the base of the front steps, close enough to hear the SLA leader talking inside.
This is what put SWAT on the map.
Orders to his people, a lot of profanity.
You're saying something like this put SWAT on the map, right?
Yes, this is what put everybody. Nobody had ever heard of even knew what SWAT stood for.
And remember, the TV show came out like the following year. Remember SWAT, LAPD, right?
Yeah. This is what put and all agencies across the country started organizing their special weapons teams after this.
We're not going to give up. There was about 26 commands given to them to surrender. The lieutenant fired several rounds. They opened up with gunfire that was unprecedented in Los Angeles police history. It was just so loud and so many rounds at one time going off.
Think of it that time too. Some of those LA cops are going to be Korea and Vietnam vets at that point, early 70s, Correct. and now here they are thinking they left all that behind, and here they are right back into a massive shootout.
Exactly. And LAPD again, they were the innovators of SWAT. No police agency, because I was a cop back then, had SWAT teams. It was just nobody thought of it until this.
Sounded like a bed sheet being torn and being ripped.
And they had fully automatic weapons.
They converted semi-automatic weapons to fully automatic weapons.
LAPD had semi-automatic.
We had semi-automatic rifles.
So you're really
shotguns,
at a disadvantage.
And a .38 revolver.
Police deployed tear gas.
A lot of the tear gas grenades that were being tossed would bounce off the window and it would roll down to my feet. And I was trying to kick them away from me.
The overpowering amount of tear gas filled the air and sickened everyone.
I can't. Man, I know how you feel.
Law enforcement soon realized the SLA members inside the house were determined to fight to the end, with people in South LA trapped in the middle.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, kid.
As far as I can determine, and you've got as close as I have.
Look out there.
That's bad. That's bad.
It was one of the first live breaking stories broadcast on television using then new technology. The shootout attracted thousands of spectators.
We had 19 SWAT members and
500 patrol officers, yeah.
But the LAPD firepower was quickly depleting.
We ran out of ammunition. And so
you ran out of ammunition?
Oh, yes.
I ran out of ammunition in 5 minutes.
Oh, my.
I think Albert fired more rounds than anybody, and I think he had 594 rounds.
Law enforcement decided to throw more tear gas into the house, which touched off the large amount of ammunition inside.
Chemical agent smoke is white. When we put the chemical agents in the back, black smoke came out. Fire erupts.
Police were surprised to receive return fire even as the house erupted in flames.
They had 35 millimeter film cans with C4 fused, and they threw those out because we'd hear boom, boom.
The chopper is overhead observing the fire is raging.
Eventually, the house was engulfed in flames.
The obvious conclusion is that the Los Angeles police have indeed found the nesting place of the Symbionese Liberation Army, and there's not much left of it now.
There's not much left of it now, Bob.
When did you know then that it was done?
The house was collapsed.
And you know what? This didn't end it. This wasn't all of them.
No.
And then it moved on to Sacramento.
Yeah.
And I think there was a Crocker Bank robbery in Sacramento after this.
And then Little and Romero, two SLA members, assassinated Marcus Foster, the superintendent of schools in Oakland, after this.
On itself.
Okay.
The standoff lasted 2 hours. 6 SLA members died. Police estimate that over 9,000 rounds were fired by the police and the SLA. In the charred remains of the home, law enforcement found rifles, pistols, and shotguns, but no Patricia Hearst. Hearst was not in the house during the shootout. She was eventually captured 16 months later, hiding out in Northern California. She'd served 2 years in prison for her role in the SLA. 4 decades later, it's a moment etched into LA history.
After 40 years, looking back, what does this mean for the city of Los Angeles?
The fact there were no citizens injured, there were no police officers injured.
A miracle.
Very fledgling unit that didn't have a lot of equipment, didn't have a lot of training, and yet we're successful because of the teamwork, and we can still survive and do this job without getting anybody injured.
Yeah, so that this story is more based from a LA point of view,
right?
Where this story played out.
500 officers. They had what do you say? Like 17 SWAT officers and 500 patrol officers.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a real comprehensive version of what happened from beginning to end, highly recommend check out the CNN the radical story of Patty Hearst. And it's like, I think it's like 5 or 6 hours. I think I remember it's like one of those 4 or 5 part series, an hour at a time, and it goes through from, the kidnapping in Berkeley and all the way through the end to the presidential pardons and updates on where these people are at now, what happened to them. Really interesting story. And like the Zodiac, these are little things of my childhood, that just resonated with me, right?
Yeah, I was on patrol on Redwood Road up in what is that, East Oakland? Redwood Road up there in the hills in East Oakland, when our radio broadcast that Los Angeles Police Department's in a shootout with SLA down in Compton. And then I transferred over to the Sheriff's Department, got hired in the Sheriff's Department, and I wound up
look at that hat, dude. Look at that hat.
I wound up guarding Little and Romero, the SLA guys who killed Marcus Foster in Oakland. They got a change of venue and were tried in San Jose. And then after they got convicted, I was part of the team that took them to prison.
Right. All right. So yeah, check out the CNN one. It's Patty Hearst story, whatever it's called. That's the one I recommend. I'll probably go watch it again because it's just so captivating to watch. And just
yeah, she wound up getting a presidential pardon after this.
Right.
And I think she wound up marrying a San Francisco police officer bodyguard.
She ended up marrying one of her bodyguards. That's right.
Yeah, San Francisco police officer.
Well, the bodyguard was someone that was supposed to be while the trial was going on, right? I can't remember.
Right.
This documentary goes way into it. It's really, really cool. Check it out. It's a wild story. All right, let's go to Louisiana. And we got some people on the run. I don't know if they're still on the run again. So real quick, if I forgot to say this in the beginning, I haven't watched any of these. So when I'm watching these stories for the first time, as far as the news stories are concerned. And so you're getting my reaction. Steve has obviously watched these already, but we're putting on here to kind of give you our reaction to this, and we try to explain to you as police officers, what our opinion is on it. And again, it's just our opinion. Can't sue us for our opinion. All right.
For all
you may not like our opinions. That's fine. I might not like yours.
All the hungry civil attorneys out there, it's just our opinion.
Yeah, you can try to sue me for my opinion. Sue Fuser to watch. Don't sue me. No, okay. No. All right, Louisiana. Steve, I'll have you kick in a second here.
New Orleans handed the jail keys to those who vowed to keep criminals out of jail. And sadly, today, we show that it worked.
Strong words there from Governor Jeff Landry as we wrap up day 3 of a massive manhunt to track down escaped inmates. 7 are still on the run, 3 back in custody, and the reward for any tips has gone up once again. The FBI raising theirs to $10,000 while Crime Stoppers is up to $5,000. WDSU reporter Jasmine Franklin is live as we hear from state leaders today in the first news briefing since the day of the escape. Jasmine?
Elizabeth, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office, the one agency the public is just anxiously waiting to get an update from, was not at that press conference today. But we did hear from state leaders who say they are committed to utilizing every resource to find those 7 remaining escapees.
These fugitives may not just be in New Orleans. They possibly moved out to other parishes in other states.
Governor Jeff Landry is in New Orleans addressing the manhunt after 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center and the failures he thinks it's exposed.
My understanding is that the Orleans Parish Jail is beyond capacity because, again, the cases are not moving, such as 9 of the 10 escapees.
3 days in, the search for the remaining escapees continues. Along with neighboring parishes, state police say they have notified law enforcement in nearby states.
We have had some leads in other states, and unfortunately, once again, those leads didn't pan out.
But police say leads from the public did help them capture the first 3 inmates. Passionate remarks from state and city leaders come as the FBI doubles their reward.
And until they are back in custody, we should all remain vigilant.
Notably absent, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office did not attend Sunday's press conference. Governor Landry says he is taking immediate action, issuing executive orders and an audit reviewing the correctional facility.
This massive jailbreak, which my statistics tell me could be the largest jailbreak in the history of the state, should never have happened.
Landry says 9 out of the 10 inmates were awaiting trial. He says had they been convicted sooner, they would likely have been at a secure state facility.
There is also no excuse for the way these cases are currently being mismanaged in our criminal justice system.
Meanwhile, state police say they will continue tracking down each tip.
Unfortunately, they have friends and family members who are helping them and concealing them and helping them move, which makes law enforcement's job more challenging.
Because the family thinks they're innocent.
Yes, exactly.
we end up getting there just a little too late.
They're just being picked on.
Just being picked on. That's right. Okay.
And state police stressed that any family or friends assisting those 7 remaining escapees could also face charges. Reporting live in New Orleans, Jasmine Franklin, WDSU News.
Yeah.
Remember the young San Jose officer was killed back in 2003, 2004.
Jeffrey Fontana?
And the suspect was it Deshaun Williams?
Yeah.
I remember my sergeant at the time was on one of the teams when the San Jose police sergeant I worked for was on one of the teams helping the VSEC guys out to go, and the family was just sheltering that guy. They did everything they could to shelter that guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I just so is that the answer though? Just to get him through court quicker to alleviate this problem?
Well, yeah, but it looks like I worked a couple of years in a jail, and so I don't understand how where was the deputy that's supposed to be watching them, or the deputies that are supposed to be watching them. I read somewhere that the deputy had gone on break without waiting for a relief deputy to take over his position, and left them unguarded. And that guy pulling on the gate, and how could he be pulling on that gate and there's no deputy there to stop him?
Yeah.
And
I'm not taking away from the crooks. They're crooks, or they're alleged crooks,
right?
Waiting trial. But that is kind of that's your job to keep them secure. So in this case, the corrections officers apparently really failed at their job at this point. I don't know what the budget situation is there. I don't know what the politics are there.
But it looked also, Mark, it looked like there was also a structural failure too. And I don't know how that got by the when I worked in the jail, we had a staff that was in charge of the facility security. They look for weaknesses and repair things that need to be repaired, so that the inmates can't take advantage of it to escape. And then you also have we had a perimeter patrol deputies who would patrol the perimeter of the jail, and I don't know why they didn't have, where were the perimeter patrol deputies?
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions.
All right. So they're still rounding some of these guys up. So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's move on to Las Vegas.
Gunfire in a packed Northwest Valley gym, sending people scrambling for survival, leaving 2 dead and others injured. Good evening. I'm Denise Felder.
Wow.
Yeah,
imagine being that cop, man.
I mean, they were close enough to shake hands. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what you call a toe-to-toe shootout.
As we have team coverage for you tonight, 8 News Now anchor Sasha Loft is standing by live near the gym at Rainbow near Lake Mead. But first, new video from our 8 News Now investigators. Kyle Payne in studio with the moment a victim realized he'd been shot.
Denise, it all started when police got a call of someone shooting people inside the Las Vegas Athletic Club's Rainbow location around 1:30 this afternoon. A busy 2-story gym. Tonight, a crime scene. Minutes after the gunman opened fire inside, police encountered him at the entrance. They shoot him several times. You'll see, and we'll see it from a couple different angles, as well as witnesses' reaction when they realized a man was caught in the crossfire.
Those 223 rounds are mean rounds, man.
Yeah.
Those are made for war.
Yeah, son of a. You son of a. You need to get some help, baby.
He's lucky his spinal cord didn't get hit.
Wow.
That looks like it. I mean, how much closer can you get to his spinal cord?
Go to them. Go, baby.
Well, witnesses say first responders took the shooting victim in that video to an area hospital, and he appeared, quote, okay. Now, police confirmed the alleged gunman was killed and one victim died. UMC confirms a total of 4 victims were taken to the hospital, 1 still in critical condition. Denise.
Kyle, thanks for that. Now, during all that confusion, there were hundreds of people inside, not even sure where those shots were coming from, ducking for cover, fearing for their own lives. 8 News Now anchor Sasha Loftus spoke with several of them as they were filing out of the building, and she continues our team coverage.
Denise, you can see behind me, it's still a dynamic scene here hours after this shooting happened at this LVAC along Rainbow. Now, those we spoke with were coming out of this parking lot. Some were crying, visibly shaken up in their workout clothes. Many were stranded for hours, unable to go back for their cars or things inside.
As I was beginning the set, I heard, pow, pow.
A normal day at the gym turns terrifying.
People just, oh, there's been a shooting, just get dressed, get out of here.
Dozens ducking for cover after a shooting at this Las Vegas athletic club near Rainbow and Vegas Drive.
All you heard was boom, 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 boom. It was rapid fire, probably about 15 shots.
Claudio Vigani says he came out of the shower and saw the gunman.
He was shooting around. I mean, you can see the pool of bullet right there.
That blood belonging to one person shot and killed inside the building.
Everybody was scared. Everybody was crying. Everybody was asking questions. What just happened?
As others shared how traumatic this all was, Lansing Santana says he saw police open fire and hit the shooter.
The gunman came out. I saw it all. He came out with the AR. He started hopping as he was ready for more. And they did 5 or 6 shots on him or something like that.
Many say they can't believe a place where they come for their health and happiness was shattered so suddenly.
We love LVAC. This is our safe place. We've been coming here for 6 years, and we never thought anything like this would have happened.
But they're grateful for this quick action to keep so many others safe.
But the response was overwhelming and very fast.
Now back out here live, you can see the crime scene tape around the parking lot. And if you look, you can see all these cars still in the parking lot belonging to people who are still unable to go back and get them. Those we spoke with today say that police told them the earliest they can come get those cars.
Major inconvenience to everybody.
Now, as you can tell, also Rainbow still back.
Right. And real quick, we can explain that. That's because they got to collect all those rounds that were fired. They got to pick up any evidence, maybe find his car in the lot and where it's parked and stuff like that. So it's a major inconvenience. But it's one of these things where
they'll know if the guy's he may have a dead body in the trunk of his car,
right,
you know, and there's could be cars that have bullet holes in them that have to be cataloged.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, because
I mean, it's an inconvenience. I get it. But it is kind of almost a civic duty at this point where, hey, everyone's got to play along. You know, I was driving early to Mountain View early this morning. I had to be there at 6 o'clock. And the CHP had 101 southbound shut down.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't know, maybe somewhere near 13th or something like that. It was shut down. And they had 4 cars there. And you can see the cars getting off and traffic was all jacked up. And I mean, I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was a fatality or whatever, but fatals are one of these things where they'll shut down the freeway, or may have been a shooting, you know, and people, I can remember being out there, those scenes, and people get so mad at us. How dare we shut down the freeway? And they're like, I get it, but someone just died.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
what do you want us to do? Just move, you know, clear it out.
Yeah, people get very upset when you stop the traffic like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is where they were diverting traffic off the freeway.
Oh yeah, you know, I've seen them where we had jumpers who were threatening to jump off an overpass, and you have to shut the freeway down, and you have the motorist yelling that the guy go ahead and jump or shoot him off the bridge or something.
yeah, that's actually something going on. Okay, this one's weird. It's kind of political. Let's okay, if you're a big fan of I don't know. Maybe it's Al Jazeera, so some people are going to take it as that's a bad source. but I'm curious about this one. I'm gonna do a little more research on this one myself, but we'll just let the video play out here. A lot of questions.
It's a grainy video, but it shows members of the family of El Chapo, Joaquin Guzman, heading across the border, suitcases and all, from Tijuana, Mexico to San Diego, the United States. 17 of them, including allegedly El Chapo's ex-wife, Griselda Lopez Perez. And a mystery's emerging. Why, when so many Mexicans have been denied entry, have the family of the country's most notorious drug trafficker been let in? Mexico's president, for one, wants answers.
There's no more information than what's already come out in the press. It's important to say this person was extradited by Mexico, and since he was extradited, they should be sending us information on a regular basis.
El Chapo, once famous.
What do you think it is? Could it be, are they turning evidence for something? Is there some investigation going on?
Well, Al Jazeera, I use their source because they had the best graphics and they had the clearest pictures of the people the family crossing the border. But
has more mainstream news covered this story?
It's all over every American major.
Is it on the conservative news networks too?
It's been on Fox News, BBC, news media in India, Pakistan, you name it. My question is how many millions of dollars are in those suitcases that they're bringing across?
So Eastside Tony says, "Yep, it's true. Going into protective custody."
Yeah, it looks like what the media is reporting is that El Chapo's son, the one that the Mexican army had arrested in Sinaloa a few years ago, and then the cartels started burning the city down, and then the president said to release him, so that they would stop burning the city down, and they finally did rearrest him and extradite him, and he's agreeing. According to the media, he's agreeing to plead out on his case if the United States lets the 17 family members into the witness protection program in the United States, and that's what the media is reporting, and that comes via the Harfuck, this gentleman there. He's the chief of security for Mexico.
Not that guy.
No.
This guy here.
This guy here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this guy he's a straight shooter. I mean, he was ambushed by the cartels going to work a couple of years ago and was shot multiple times. Fortunately, he survived.
So who pays for witness protection?
The American taxpayers, buddy.
These guys are billionaire drug cartel. Maybe they can fund it themselves.
Yeah, I would think so, right? I'm sure they got enough money in those suitcases.
Remember the whole Whitey Bulger thing where the FBI guy was setting him up at the hotel, the apartment in Santa Monica? That was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. Tony says, they got Tony says something about his ex-wife. Not Tony's ex-wife, El Chapo's ex-wife.
Yeah, but these people, Mark,
they even brought in his ex-wife, he said.
Yeah, they're responsible for just all those horrible murders of hanging people from overpasses and chopping them up and putting them in barrels of acid, just horrible things, and so it brings to question why you would make such a deal with him.
He cares about his family, Steve. He wants to. I will admit to everything if you take care of my family.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they probably are targets.
Yeah, some people are saying maybe they bought those gold cards that Trump selling for immigration.
I guess that works. I don't know. Maybe they did. All right. We don't want to.
I didn't say that.
We don't want to offend the sensitive.
I didn't.
All right.
Say
So
that.
let's move on. Danger on the freeway. North Loop Freeway. Was this guy towing something? Let's watch.
Now, I have a question for the highway patrol officer about this one.
Okay. You got a question for the CHP? Oh, let's see what happens.
On Houston freeways, a towing debacle that had fellow drivers.
Well, first of all, he's using some sort of tow cable. No. Right now, no.
Yeah, trying to steer clear.
What are you doing, stupid?
I mean, it's the question we all have. What in the world is he doing? The unbelievable video was captured on the North Loop near Ella. ABC 13's Jessica Willie is live after talking to those eyewitnesses.
So, Jessica, what exactly did they tell you?
Yeah, what were they thinking is what comes to mind. It appears these two people were trying to tow a car after some kind of wheel or tire issue. Well, it just got worse, leaving drivers dodging disaster.
Stop!
From afar, David Chides and his coworker weren't sure what was happening, but they knew it wasn't good.
She's gonna hit that door.
A blue convertible fishtailing out of control. It's not the craziest thing Chides has seen on Houston's roads.
Well, I've seen car wrecks, police chases. You know, I've seen people fighting one another.
But this time, he had his camera ready.
It was like a Fast Furious movie or something.
As generator delivery men,
I'm all over Houston and the Houston area.
he and his coworkers spend most of the day on the road. This afternoon, they were on 290 inbound, merging onto the North Loop when they saw the commotion ahead.
What are you doing, stupid?
And when they finally got close enough, they realized the SUV was towing the sedan with a chain. At highway speed, it just got more reckless.
Does he not want to stop?
What's hard to see is that there's a man in the driver's seat in the car, a woman behind the wheel in the SUV, and she was laughing, he says.
That was very, very reckless, and that was very dangerous.
Don't do that!
And illegal. At the very least, an officer tells ABC 13 a violation for failing to maintain a single lane of traffic. No one was hurt, but it appears the car suffered even more damage. The man inside certainly got a scare. Chides isn't a roadway safety expert, but this, he says, seems obvious.
You can see there's a paper license plate on that car. That right there is a clue that is, that's not, I don't even know if that's a temporary Texas plate or some sort of dealer plate. The right way, that's a clue that something's up.
Something's up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it might have been some kind of a domestic 415 situation here between the female and the male.
Oh, okay.
Call someone for help. Make a complete stop, but don't go backwards on the freeway.
Jessica Willie, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Okay, well, in the latest edition of what not to do.
Who are they? What? There's no follow up on who. What did they get cited? Did they?
Yeah, I saw some other news stories, and the police finally did arrive, and according to the police, there was nothing they could cite them for, and they wound up arresting the male who was in the car being towed for a warrant. It was an out-of-state warrant.
What do you mean? There's nothing they could cite him for? There's multiple violations right there.
That's why I wanted to ask you about that. I go, what do you mean there's nothing they could cite him for? But
at least one or two.
Yeah, it looked like it looked to me like it was some kind of
the guy driving the SUV and the person in the driver's seat of the towed car. There's two right there. I can't remember the code off the top of my head, but it's definitely you're not supposed to be towing vehicles like that, at least not in our state. I don't know. Maybe it's different in Texas. But wow. Yeah.
They could have killed somebody.
I'm so fascinated by stuff like this. Okay. What are these vehicles? How are they registered? Who they belong? Are they supposed to be on the road? There's so much fraudulent license plate stuff going on. Texas, to its benefit or
to its credit,
is actually cracking down on paper license plates. They're going to start making it that you have to have a hard license plate, that the dealerships are going to start issuing out the hard license plates because too many people are just doing these little counterfeit paper ones. I don't know what's going on here, but I can see a paper plate on that car right there. And, that those are so, I just ran into one on a stolen Ferrari case in LA where the Ferrari was hiding out in a neighborhood and had the wrong paper license plate on it that belongs to another Ferrari, just to hide the fact that this one was stolen. Like Tony says, yes, what a time to be alive. Tony, everyone's got a camera in their hand. Everyone's got high definition video, 4K. We're all.
It's a miracle.
Man.
It's a miracle they didn't kill anybody, Mark. My goodness.
I know. Yeah, this is crazy. All right. Yeah, don't do that. You got to use a dolly or some sort of hard cable,
I'm picturing
that
she caught this guy again. This is, my imagination or something that he somewhere he shouldn't have been, and she got mad and was going to tow his car, and then he jumped in the car and she's
so it was a woman driving the truck and a guy in the car.
Yeah, right. And
stop. I didn't mean it.
And she's laughing as she's dragging him down the freeway.
Oh, I want an interview. I want to go talk to them. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Maybe we get them on the show next week. What? Tell me what happened. I want to.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
We're
gonna send Scott out there.
I'm just trying to fill in the blanks, Mark.
Yeah. Huh. We should have her on next week. We have her co-host the show. All right. It's a sob. That's why I didn't get a ticket. Was it a sob, really? All right. Let's go. This is weird. These kids in a little standoff here in
oh my goodness. I talked to Scott about this today, earlier today.
Now to the shocking video from New Mexico showing police officers disarming 2 young boys.
Go ahead and put it down for me, okay?
You're not in trouble, but you have to drop that and come talk to us, all right?
Authorities say this video shows the standoff between New Mexico sheriff's deputies and 2 young boys.
Just put it down, babe.
In February, police were called to an Albuquerque home where investigators say they found the 7- and 9-year-old boys brandishing a loaded gun.
He does have his finger on the trigger right now. Hey! Put it down!
Put it
Don't
down,
do
buddy.
that!
The officers say one of the boys tried to pull the trigger multiple times, but the gun malfunctioned. Police fired a non-lethal round in their direction,
Drop it!
causing the boy to point the gun towards deputies.
Wow.
Moments later, officers rush in and wrestle the gun away. Authorities say state laws prohibited them from arresting the children or removing them from their mother's custody. They say the boy's father, who is currently in jail, owns the gun and could face charges. It comes as officials are concerned over a rise in guns at schools in the area. Albuquerque Public Schools report 13 guns have been confiscated from school grounds this school year so far.
Police say they've been called to that home more than 50 times, adding that the boys have a documented history of family trauma.
Okay.
Welcome to the Daily Show. We got one for you today. My name is John Stewart. What a program.
Steve, what's up? What's the latest on that one?
Well, I watched an interview with the sheriff of that county, and he was very, very, very upset with the state legislature because they have not revised and updated their juvenile laws in years, and he's powerless. He said he's powerless to deal with this. They've been to the House something like 56 times.
In California, those kids would already be under CPS protection.
Correct.
Yeah.
But they do not have that authority in New Mexico, and the state legislature has sitting on their hands, have not updated their juvenile laws, and he says he's just powerless to deal with these kids and his deputies. And they can't be prosecuted. They can't be taken away. It's just he goes it's a problem on a state level.
So the way the kids were acting, they thought people were playing around, or they maybe in some way did they think it was real, and that makes you worried about what they're going to be like when they're teenagers in a few years and down the road. This continues,
Yeah, and who knows? The father's in jail, and the mother, who knows what the home situation is like. But to be called to the house 50 times, for the police to be called 50 something times to this on 7- and 9-year-olds, oh my God, what's going to happen when they get older? And what are they being taught? I've been to houses when I was working where some parents hated the police, and they would teach their kids to hate the police. You know, I'm not saying that that's the case here, but who knows what these little boys are
I
learning.
can remember being at a house on the east side of San Jose, a bunch of Raiders fans, and they were teaching their kids that stuff.
Yeah. What are these little boys learning? You know,
did you watch a story about the father of the Palm Springs bombing suspect yesterday? The father came on the news. His son was the one.
I did not. I saw the headline. I did not watch the interview.
So they interviewed the father, and what he was saying is like he hasn't talked to his son in 10 years. And obviously, he was the one that died in the explosion. But he said 10 years ago, when his mom and him got a divorce, the mom always kind of sheltered the kid. But even back then, the kid was always starting fires. He burnt the house down, you know, constantly causing problems. And then when they split up, he kind of lost contact with his son. You know, and then now here is 10 years later, he's evolved. Like it's an anti-life movement, which I didn't even know existed. They just don't want life at all.
Yes. I mean, yeah. They think there's too many people. There's too many people on the planet.
It sounds like the Rainbow Six plot. If you remember the original Rainbow Six book that came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
Wow. So, interesting. Yeah. But the dad was like, he was crying. He goes, my son, but he goes, yeah, I mean, back then 10 years ago, when he was 15, he was just constantly getting in trouble like that, you know? So,
oh yeah. I've been to talk to parents where, you know, we caught the son in on camera doing something, you know, and, you know, just picking on the whole neighborhood picks on my son, you know, everybody picks on my son, you know.
Yeah.
And you're just not going to convince her any different.
Yeah. So, hey, Tony, I don't know if you're talking about, I think you're talking about the Saab, the towing vehicle, but Tony says he tagged us on Instagram. We'll let Scott know. Scott's in, where's Scott? In Italy, Croatia? Where the hell is he?
He's in Italy right now.
He's Italy. Yeah. So he'll be managing the Instagram from there. So we'll make sure he knows. Okay. So, all right, let's move on to where are we at here? Police in Ohio shooting dogs. What's going on? I shot a dog once.
Yeah, she lives right here.
Got in trouble too. Family got mad at me that I didn't need to shoot the dog. Well, I didn't get in trouble. But...
Was it just running around or something? All right. Did you see any other dogs out here?
Hopefully not, are there?
Well, the lady down the
Nope. We're done. We're done.
Get back. Let go of the dog. Let go of it. Get back. Get back. Get back.
Kevin, come here. Come here. Kevin, come here. Kevin, come here.
All right. What's the criticism? The dog he shot was the wild dog?
Yeah, right. The dog attacking the woman and her pet.
Okay. Okay. So we have a dog that is off leash, and she called the cops because, and I'm just watching this that's the first time I watched this. She called the cops because this other dog was roaming around, right?
Correct.
And so this dog is killing the other dog at this point.
Yeah.
The way she was screaming. And I mean, the white dog is on a leash. She's holding on the leash. The other dog is attacking that dog. What do they want the cop to do? Go there and break up with his hands?
Yeah, I know. I've been on dog attack calls, and they're very traumatic and they're very dangerous because you don't know, you don't want your round to go through the dog and hit a rock and then ricochet and kill somebody. You know, it's shooting is it's a very dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, no, but in this point, he's use deadly force to save another animal. I mean, that's an issue. I don't know,
Well, I think the dog was attacking the woman also.
Well, because she's holding on to the leash.
Yeah.
Right. Here I am. Am I defending the other dog? Oh my God. No, but I think it's a good shoot. I don't have a problem with it. The dog is loose, running around. She is obeying the law with her dog on the leash. And obviously this other dog's a menace, to what's going on. Tony's like, did you guys get the raccoon with a meth pipe? Do you know what that means? I have no idea what that means.
No, I have no idea what that means.
I think Tony and Scott are chatting back and forth. I have no idea.
I had a case, Mark, where a pit bull had attacked a little boy at a birthday party, and the fire department got there before I did, and somehow the fire department had gotten a ladder and had pinned the pit bull down, and the pit bull was just screaming and trying to get loose, and we're trying to take care of the little boy who had been mangled by the pit bull, and get the ambulance people, the paramedics, to take care of the little boy. It was very confusing, very chaotic, and my sergeant's yelling at me, shoot the dog, and I was carrying a 41 mag at the time, and I was just really concerned about my round going through the dog and hitting a rock, maybe underneath the unseen rock under the ground, under the dirt, and then hitting somebody innocent, another officer or a firefighter or paramedic or somebody.
I shot a
they're very dangerous.
I shot a pit bull on duty, and the first round hit the sidewalk and ricocheted somewhere. The second round hit the dog. But that was the issue. San Jose PD actually came to that scene because it was happening in the city of San Jose when I was with the CHP. But I'll never forget it. You go that sidewalk to this day outside the shopping center off of Blossom Hill. You can still see the little mark. I walk by and you can see the little mark on the sidewalk from my bullet. But yeah, I mean, you just don't know. Again, you don't know where your round's going. But at the time, the dog was attacking my partner and had gotten loose from a suspect we were trying to arrest.
One of my good friends, San Jose police officer, was trying to do an attempt to contact on a vehicle he had found to see if it was an unreported stolen car. So he'd gone to the registered owner's address and was walking up to the front door, and the pit bull just crashed through the screen door and went straight for my buddy, and he just drew and hit. He said he hit the dog right between the eyes, and the dog just shook his head and ran back into the house.
Yeah. And to be fair, that pit bull, I was petting that dog 2 weeks earlier because we were looking for that guy for several weeks.
Oh wow!
And that pit bull was the family dog. And then 2 weeks later, this guy was hiding out. He was a wanted parolee at large, had 211 priors. He was on the run with the CHP had chased him. He's on the run. And so he had gone back to that family who allowed him to take the dog, and now he's hiding it. So we went to grab him, and we scared him, and he let the dog loose or dropped he had the dog on a chain like this big. The links are that big.
Oh wow!
So the dog was very intimidating, and the dog was protecting his owner, but went after my partner, and I shot the dog out in response to that. But so about the raccoon with a meth pipe, Eastside Tony says, lady got pulled over having a raccoon. She had a permit for the raccoon and was free to go, but the raccoon pulled out a meth pipe. Womp womp, she didn't have a permit for that. I'm gonna have to pre-read Tony's stuff because I read that live. I didn't know where that was going, man. I was a little worried I was gonna get looped into something there. All right, cool. We'll send us a link, or we'll Google that one. I'll do it before we get off here. We'll try to do it. Okay, let's go over to Scottsdale, and we got an incident here in Scottsdale. We'll go after.
The Scottsdale Police Department does not currently use an in-car camera. This incident began when officers were dispatched to a subject threatening a person with a weapon around McKellips Road and Scottsdale Road at a hotel in Scottsdale, Arizona. A victim called 911 because after his vehicle was struck in a hotel parking lot, the victim confronted the driver, later identified as Joseph Santos. Santos fled the scene before the police arrived. The victim was able to provide police with a description of the vehicle and a partial license plate. Here's a video of the victim contacting the suspect at a gas station after the initial collision has occurred. The victim confronted the suspect at a gas station near Scottsdale and McKellips Road.
Look right there. I got no camera. Big bro. Oh, where? This show. Oh, this show. What?
Is he running from him?
Hey, what's up? This dude out here with a gun out here tripping. On your lot. What? Where? He's right here.
Check out that knife he's wearing.
Yeah. That's Arizona for you.
He's got like a big old K-bar machete on his hip, the clerk.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think Arizona is one of those any fool can carry a gun states.
Oh, it is. Okay, so now he's waving to the guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's right here right now.
So, yeah, he's calling the police to tell them.
Reports the victim hitting the curb in front of the convenience store.
He's upset, huh?
Yeah, this was a real sad set of circumstances that the officers had to shoot this
The
fool.
victim told officers he observed a gun in the waistband of Santos during this confrontation.
Okay, so this doesn't happen here. Like I said, I've never seen these, so I don't know. So are we moving on somewhere else?
Yeah, just move all the way to the where the police finally stopped the suspect.
Okay, so the police find the guy later on.
Yeah,
by an unmarked patrol vehicle.
he goes back to the original location of the car accident.
Body-worn cameras. Officers contacted Santos at his passenger side door and began to give commands to Santos while pointing their duty weapons at him.
Do not move, okay?
What the fuck you guys talking about?
Open the door. Keep your hands up. Do you have anyone on the driver's side? Keep your fucking hands up.
Put that hand up, man.
Shoot me.
No.
Put your hands up.
Gotta keep those hands where you can see them.
Yep, go. Back up. Go.
Hey. Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
During the commands from officers, he threw a piece of his clothing out the window and continued to scream aggressively.
All right.
A canine is deployed through the open front passenger side window.
And behind,
simultaneously,
dog went in there.
An officer fires his duty weapon through the front windshield. This is a slowed down version of the body-worn camera when the officer-involved shooting took place.
He's reaching in the back.
And quickly reaches
He's reaching in the back.
front passenger seat. Here is a view from the canine handler's body-worn camera.
Unfortunately, the dog was shot also by the officer.
No. Put your hands up. Listen, dude.
Put your hands up now. Get your fucking hands in the air. Shoot me.
Fast.
The officer who was standing at the front right passenger side tire fired his duty weapon through the windshield, striking the canine and Santos. Officers immediately approached the vehicle and pulled Santos out and promptly began life-saving medical aid to Santos. Santos was pronounced dead at the scene. Mesa detectives arrived as part of the East Valley Critical Incident Response Team to investigate the officer-involved shooting. The canine involved was released from the hospital and has returned to full duty.
Thank God.
This officer-involved shooting is being investigated.
I'm happy about the dog, man. I was worried about the dog.
Yeah, that was completely unnecessary. You know, reaching back and he was yelling. I think he was yelling like "shoot me" to the officers. You know, just being belligerent. I would imagine he was probably drunk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily, I was worried that the guy at the gas station was going to get shot. I didn't know we were watching here again. I've never watched these before.
Yeah.
So. All right. Yeah. Tony says that's anyone could have a gun there. I was thinking about moving to Arizona, but still might. I might keep a place down there. Hey, real quick. I found something kind of funny here. Let me pull this up. Okay. This is what Tony's talking about. Check this out. A raccoon finds a meth pipe. Apparently. Shit.
Oh, there's no way. Put your paws where I can see them. That raccoon named Chewy
turned up with a meth pipe in his mouth during a routine traffic stop. Is this for real? The animal wasn't driving. His owner was stopped for allegedly driving with a suspended license. Officers then happened to find more used pipes as well as bulk amounts of meth and cocaine in the car.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Ohio law does let people keep raccoons as pets. Interesting. But there's no word on whether Chewy will be returned to his owner. Dang.
Hopefully not. You know, we were talking.
Chewy, what's up, man?
Thanks, Tony. That was good.
That was cool. Okay.
Yeah, that was cool.
We hadn't seen that one. I'm sure Scott saw that. It was probably on the Instagram. We didn't even notice it. So yeah, Chewy. Poor Chewy. Chewy got his owner in trouble. Be like my cat Momo diming me out for something I'm not supposed to have. You know. I'm pointing to her right now. So all right, let's go. Well, yeah, that Scottsdale thing is brutal. Luckily, all the law enforcement and our victim is okay. I'm not sure what's going on in the head of that dude. But that's
that was completely completely avoidable. You know, all the guy had to do was just go along with the program.
Okay. All right, I got 3 more videos to go over here. We'll go through. We're going over to Fresno. I love Fresno.
Hi, there's an armed robbery going down at Maplewood condominiums right now.
What's the full address there?
North Backer Avenue, what unit?
And there's like 4 or 5 of them. They all got guns.
My neighbor just came to my house knocking.
They broke into my window and they said Fresno Police Department. And okay. That's all. I looked out the people for a second. It wasn't the cops, and I ran out the back door. And you guys are in unit.
Yeah, I'm in unit. House robbery.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to move it up a little bit, Mark, to get to the shooting.
They got guns and stuff, and there's.
So are these the suspect? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, those are the suspects. Yeah.
So are they there to get somebody, or they're
doing a burglary? It looks like, and they're armed with guns. So maybe
7:17 in the morning.
Yeah, one is armed with a shotgun. As you can see, they had a little red circle around him. And Fresno PD is on. They're en route. And then you can see that's their getaway car driving over the grass.
Oh, wow. They knew what they were doing, man.
Yeah, I think they're trying to load a safe or something. I haven't seen this one for a while. It's been a while since I saw this one.
Really bold. That's the same dude in the outfit.
Yeah.
Nice matching outfit, by the way. You're a classy bro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at the safe. Okay. Huh. Remember that call in San Jose? You've been on those East Side calls. They take the safe like that from the upstairs bedroom and just push it down the marble stairway.
Oh, yeah. Causing all kinds of damage.
All right. So they knew he had a safe in the house. How do they know that? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens here now?
So yeah, the first officer is going to arrive on the scene. He's going to wind up encountering the suspects that they're trying to drive out of the apartment complex.
All right. Could be its own TV show. Here it is, early morning too. The morning shift guys aren't expecting this.
No.
Right?
No, he was probably having pancakes at an IHOP or something when he got the call.
Pancakes, IHOP. Come on, Steve.
Forward with the key for
2025. It's Starbucks.
Stay right there. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
Who's gonna go?
I got the car on the south side. Get on the ground.
He's gonna get that shotgun out.
Don't fucking move. They're trying to drive away. Don't move. Don't move. King 14, they're going back towards you.
I thought he had a fur collar or something, but that's his beard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go for it. Do it.
We're like, shots fired. Stop right there.
I'm sorry. I was all for shooting that guy when he's coming out of the cop like that.
Yeah.
They're say, oh, they would argue, oh, the cop needs to get out of the way of the car. It's like, that wasn't no roadway that car was on.
Nope.
That cop had every right to be there. So was the suspect hit? The driver?
It's been a while since I watched this one, Mark. I don't remember. Yeah, I think he did hit him.
Yeah, get the dog. There's a dog going after him. Love it. Let the dog handle this. I get so excited over this. I love to see the dog.
There's another guy in the car still. Another guy in the car.
I love seeing the dog in action like that for guys like this.
You know, Mark, in my 30-something years, I've seen a lot of stuff, but I've never seen a canine bite. let me get that.
I got you.
Back and once. Look at that.
Hey, I'm gonna put this in my car.
Now he's got bullet holes in his windshield. Was he shooting through his windshield?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's
so do we
intense.
know anything about these suspects or anything?
Pretty intense. No, I don't. That's as much as we know.
Wow. That was intense.
Yeah,
I'd like to find out. I want to do some stories on who all these dudes are, what's going on with this case, who all these guys, what's their background. You know, they're all innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. That outfit was a felony, though. I will say that.
I had a similar case where some guys from East Palo Alto had kidnapped another guy, and they took him because he was growing marijuana in his apartment, his townhouse over by Hofstadter and Capitol in the trade zone area out that way, and the neighbors called in a possible burglary in progress because they saw these guys crawling through the window. I don't know why they weren't going through the front door since they had the homeowner with them, and we wound up into a shooting with those guys.
Yeah. It's not a fun time, and then when you get involved in the shooting too, you're rethinking in your head for days, and especially the night after, the day after, you're rethinking your head. Man, you're just like, you start questioning yourself, and totally everything is totally justified, most of the time. But you're just, because of the type of people that we are, most of us are, most police officers, most just normal people, you still question yourself. Did I do everything right? Was I justified in doing what I did? A lot of people don't think about that stuff. I know cops that have been fired, and rightfully so, because they don't think two shits about what they just did, so you're constantly questioning yourself. And then my own experience with that is like, God, did I do the right thing? Did I do, and it all turned out fine, but it's like this is, I think, who we are.
Well, it's not only the shooting incident itself, Mark, but then, you wind up sitting in a room, and you're 10 hours of being interrogated by detectives and internal affairs people and your command staff, and you ain't going home for a long time.
And you're hoping that everything seed bagel you ate the day before is not going to make you pop positive for something you're not supposed to.
And you're separated. They purposely separate you from any support, any emotional support. You're put in a room by yourself, and you sit there by yourself.
Well, that might be the San Jose PD way. And they tried to do it at the Highway Patrol a few times, and we would say, "Nah, we got our union guys there. We got our." I would go there. I was on the shooting team, and we go there. So we do our own administrative investigation if one of our officers got involved in this shooting in another jurisdiction, and then we're there to kind of support, get them what they need, make sure the agency investigating gets everything they need, and then make sure they got representation of their union, and are they going to do blood or not, which they don't have to do.
No, times change.
Yeah, I mean, it changed over the times. I can remember being in a briefing in the early 2000s in San Jose, and your homicide detective came in, and he talked about all this protocol that's going to happen if one of us got in a shooting. It was some suit and a homicide guy, and our union rep, who was a senior motor, Wally, he that guy wasn't even leaving the room yet. Wally walks in the briefing, goes, everything that guy just said is wrong. You ain't doing squat. You ain't going to the PD. We're going to be with you. We're going to be in the office. It's not that's going to happen like that. And we were all cheering. And the commander at the time was rolling his eyes. And the homicide guy's like, what the hell? But Wally was our union rep. And he's like, no, that's not how it's going to happen. Because I guarantee
good.
it. You know,
that's good.
You know, and I'll never forget that. And the DA's office in Santa Clara County set up a protocol for how officer-involved shootings would be investigated shortly after that, and there was protocol, but we made some adjustments to it and always had our people with their officers.
And that's how the Officers' Bill of Rights came about, you know, with the because of the abuses, the abuses mainly out of LAPD and LA Sheriff's Department, the horror stories of keeping guys up, you know, more than 24 hours, and they depriving them of sleep, and you know, abusing officers, and we wound up getting the Officers' Bill of Rights.
Right. I mean, because you know, you are put there to make split-second decisions that you will be second guessed for the rest of your life. And believe me, there are shitty officers, and hopefully we catch them, and hopefully they're, and I've known some that have been fired and prosecuted. And I'm sure you have too. Rightfully so for the ones that I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
You do need some sort of outside review. You can't keep everything internal because we know favors will be played. It's just kind of natural. So you got to have someone externally looking at this stuff. But obviously you have to have Bill of Rights, and we are the people there to try to make things better. This is a good shoot. I think these guys, you know, I want to find out more about these guys. I say that every week, and I look at it, I go, who are these dudes? What's their history? What's going on? Where are they from? Are they from Fresno? Are they from over here? Like that. I was watching this video of the Lululemon robbery or attempted shoplifting at Santana Row a few weeks ago, and you know, so I was watching with another cop who used to be an Oakland cop, and he's like, and I go, where are they from? And he goes, Oakland. And I go, we don't. And I called, and so yeah, they're from Oakland. You know, so it's just I'm always like, where are these people doing crimes from? You know, and this is a question I say to everyone from Oakland. I've lived in Oakland. I actually love Oakland. I'm not just saying. I like to figure out where they're from. What's their tie into Fresno? What's the tie into the Valley? Did they travel a long ways to do this crime? How did they know this person had a safe in his apartment? You know, is it a friend of a friend type of situation where they were there for a party? Did someone go over there and dine the guy out? Who's got a safe in his apartment? He's a gun collector. He's got money in there, something like that, right? So
yeah,
the things I want to know that wasn't in that story. So
yeah. Back in the 70s, we had a robbery crew out of Southern California that was hitting bars at closing time, and wound up getting into a shootout with San Jose PD, and eventually getting arrested. And then a lot of those smash and grab, where they go to the jewelry stores and smash out the glass cases and steal the jewelry. A lot of those crews are out of Southern California.
Right. All right, let's go. We got two more to look at here. Okay, let's go over to Logan County, and this is another one of those body cam videos from one of those YouTube channels, where they get this the good footage here. All right. Here. Oh no, they're passing it. They're going up to the door.
Yeah, there's a couple of deputies going to, I think it's a 415 family situation.
Back in April.
So she tells him he's over by the pool, the husband.
Okay.
So they're going to go make contact with him.
Jeremy, you run. Whoa!
Oh, man.
Oh, fuck!
Johnny, I'm hit.
God, he's so calm. County, I'm hit.
She was at the door and closed it.
What happened here, Steve? Anyone dead?
He wound up shooting both deputies. He with an assault rifle, and and he pinned them down for a long time. And I believe they wound up killing him.
Deputies are alive though. Everything's
yes,
good?
the deputies survived.
Okay.
Hello, Sheriff's Office.
Hey, she's getting some water right now. He's over there hiding by the pool.
By the pool.
And I can't believe that she did not know that her husband had a rifle with him.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Whoa!
Oh, fuck!
He's hit too.
Yeah. Very scary, very sad.
Both of them are real calm about it. Shots fired. I'm hit. I mean, wow, I
Yeah.
would have been screaming. I'm hit. Shots fired.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I'm hit.
Seriously, I'm hit.
You see, he's got blood all over his hands there.
Where you hit, Nero? Where you hit? You see him?
County 350, will you crown all of it?
You got to worry because you don't know if you guy might come around to try to execute these guys. You know?
And medical.
Yeah, at this point, there's no more of this. Put the gun down. I'm going to shoot this guy. I'm going to put him down.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking at this point.
And you listen
You were
to the
just
radio.
you were just ambushed.
You were ambushed. Yeah. You listen to the radio. It sounds like they don't have too many units today because you don't hear any. Normally, you would hear the radio traffic go crazy.
Yeah, I like the fact that there's no, hey, put the rifle down, give it up. No, they're just shooting back at this point.
And they're pinned down. They're pinned down with a guy with a long rifle.
And what you're thinking about here now too, right? You're
rifle.
thinking, okay, how many rounds do I have left? How many rounds did I fire? He's got a rifle. I've got this magazine in my gun with 5 or 6 left in it. I've got the one in my 2 or 3 on my belt, depending on how many you're carrying, right?
You're right.
And then you got to think about how far back is in the patrol car. Can you make it there? How your partner's doing? He's hit too. All these things got to be going through your you got to be able to save at least one magazine in case the guy comes after you to defend yourself while your backup's coming, right? So all the things that's got to be running through your mind to manage a situation like this.
And also to control your bleeding.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're going to assess yourself, see how serious of a wound it is. If it's an artery, you're going to bleed out. Maybe it's a situation with like that guy in the parking lot at the gym where it's not necessarily fatal. It might have just been a clean shot through or something.
Yeah, I remember, Mark, in my first shooting, I was just like almost hyperventilated. I was so upset, you know.
God, they're so calm.
Yeah,
they are so calm.
And that radio is just dead. Just You
okay, Nero?
San Jose, there'd be so many units on that radio.
I think he's at code 4.
Saying they're en route.
Yeah, big warning.
They gotta be feeling really lonely right now.
No, I don't.
Because I
don't have visual.
You're waiting to hear that siren to know the cavalry's coming. You know.
What's his first name again?
Jeremy.
Logan, I think. Well, no, Logan's the county. I'm sorry.
I mean, do you run back to your vehicle, retreat to your vehicle, maybe grab your rifle out of the vehicle? What do you do here, right? I mean, you might get shot in the back. I don't know.
Exactly.
These are the things you're thinking about, right?
Well, I just hunker down and I just wait for the cavalry to get here.
Stop with 90 East County for right now.
This is where you want to have that rifle. You want to have that distance, that ability to aim.
Yeah.
Man,
we both have facial.
Okay.
So they both were shot in the face.
No, I can't.
Okay. Where can we get you to cover? Are you in cover? There's no cover back here.
The way they're speaking, they sound very experienced to me.
Yeah.
I commend them on their poise. Okay, they got one guy there. Good. You got a cover officer there. Well, he shows up. Good. Okay. And then tell me someone's got a rifle.
I can't see him. I don't know if he's moved or not after I shot him.
So he did shoot. Okay.
Yeah, I think eventually, Mark, what they're gonna discover that they killed him.
Jordan, can you see anything from where you're at?
The initial exchange of gunfire. The guy's dead.
So they did have a rifle on him right away.
Not the two guys that got shot. It looks like that was the responding officer, or they got the rifle later. Yeah, but you can
Headed your way. They were in
you can end it if you want. The shooter's dead.
Come to the
shooter's dead.
Yeah. Which is awesome. Those officers are able to shoot a guy from such a long distance with a handgun. That's just, I mean, there's just so many ways to praise these guys, to commend these guys.
Hey, on the previous story, Tony saying how Bart will soon bring Oakland to San Jose. You know, I remember the bus routes. Was it Fountain Alley? What's the downtown drug area? Downtown
Fountain
San
Alley.
Jose?
Fountain
Yeah.
Alley.
So remember all the drug users, the drug dealers that were being found were all from the East Bay corridor that would come down and sell. Same with Market Street in San Francisco. It was all around the transit lines. They would come in and sell. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, I'm excited for Bart to be in San Jose. I use Bart.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is going to see what type of activity comes through based on that.
Yeah, back when East Palo Alto was hopping before they finally cleaned it up, we used to get a lot of
it out.
Huh?
I think it just got too expensive.
Yeah. The 280 from East Palo Alto, they would come down 280 and hit Cupertino, Sunnyvale, and then jump on 280 and head back to East Palo Alto.
Right. All right, let's go one more. These are about some cops, police officers, rangers that maybe went rogue. Let's watch what's going on here. We'll end it with this, okay? See, not all the bad guys are actual not cops. Some cops are bad guys too. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the story.
Saw on ABC 15 allegations of misconduct against several members of the Mesa Park Rangers unit.
Yeah, one ranger resigning, others placed on leave as calls for accountability pour in tonight.
ABC 15 investigator Nicole Gregg broke the story and has more now for us.
The allegations are disturbing. Several Mesa Park Rangers who are civilian employees with no law enforcement powers allegedly targeting and mistreating the unhoused and African Americans.
And even those who frequent the parks who are unhoused, they deserve dignity, respect, and to be treated well.
The NAACP responding Tuesday after the ABC 15
So not even
investigators
police officers.
learned that Mesa Police launched an investigation into several city park rangers who
No, they're a separate unit apparently.
the Goon Squad. Park Rangers could allegedly earn a patch as a makeshift reward.
Ooh, look at me. I'm Mr. Operator with all my Velcro gear on. You know, look at me how cool I am. I can't even climb a wall.
For gooning, which is described as how they would plan on beating up Black people and the homeless.
So we got a photo of the patch. That's the patch.
Yeah, this is horrible. The community does not like to see the Punisher skull, right? Because that represents lawlessness, violating the law. That's what the Punisher did.
It's unclear who created the patch. It has two handcuffs to make the O's in goons and a bullet.
Park Rangers, one, they don't have firearms, so why do you even have a bullet here, right? And then you have a billy club, which we know what those have typically been used for. And this is scary to see.
The city of Mesa now hiring an independent consultant to come in to investigate the Rangers. A city council member taking it even further, calling for a broad review of the management practices of the Parks and Rec Department, saying in part, we must be accountable and address these systematic issues.
So this is indicative. This stuff's been going on for years. Patches, there's always the LA Sheriff's Department issues with maybe some gangs within the Sheriff's Department. I know, especially down the South Side, those issues have been around for years, and it happens. Some I've been part of units where you take kind of pride in, being the enforcers, or being the auto theft guys, wherever it is. But you got to be careful. There's a line you got to be careful of, and sometimes people just go overboard with it. I get the camaraderie. I get the, hey, we're this cool unit or stuff like that. I get that, but you got to be careful. And a lot of it gets out of control. A lot of people in law enforcement or around law enforcement have no business being around law enforcement.
Right. Yeah. I think RADA, when they first formed, somebody came out with T-shirts where it was a rat,
Yeah.
And they said, no, you guys can't be doing that.
Oh, we still had it. We had the rat years later. When I was in RADA 2003 to 2006.
I know McNamara was not happy with that.
Yeah, and it was like, it was rat based on the term rat, regional auto theft.
Yeah.
Right. So
right.
But no, we had it. I remember BK when he was a sergeant there. He had these shirts made, the rat. We had the machine gun. But it wasn't anything like targeting a certain group. It was we're targeting auto theft, which is everybody who was stealing cars, and it was this way of
it wasn't
a gang mentality.
I'm just saying that you like what you're saying is you have to be careful because it could be misinterpreted, and then
right.
because then you wind up with people like what allegedly is going on here, where you have misfits creating these little mini gangs.
But that's like, they want that authority. They want to be part of something. And look, I'm a police officer, but I was a highway patrol officer and then I became an auto theft guy. But it's not my life. It's not my identity. It's something that I did. It's something I'm very proud of. I'm very involved in, but I'm not going to I did 21 years and I went in and got out, and made a life for myself outside of it, and there's so many people that are just so wrapped up in that identity.
Mark, Mark, they get into this almost like it started off as a fraternity type of thing, and then it morphs into these goon squad type of crap, and you wind up misbehaving.
Yeah. And so there's a line, and you need good management that knows what they're doing. Management that has been in the trenches.
Yeah.
Not just someone who starts promoting after a couple of years and because they ace a test or something like that, but someone's actually put handcuffs on a lot of people to start making these decisions and manage units like this. And a lot of times, a lot of managers just, they take it, whatever, and they start working the management ladder because of whatever, but they actually don't have a lot of experience in managing units like that.
And you need some mature officers. You can't just have young people, because young officers are real susceptible to that kind of crap.
Right.
You need older officers to level it out.
All right. Yeah. No grooming, older guys. Okay. All right, Steve. Hey, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Steve, everyone's guilty again, right?
No, we want to remind all of our viewers that anybody you see on any of our platforms is to be considered innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. And law enforcement may consider some of these people to be extremely dangerous. Do not make any attempt to arrest, apprehend, or detain them. If you recognize a fugitive, you can call 911, or you can send us a tip at tips@fugitive.com, tips@fugitive.com.
And if you have something stolen, cars, suspects in a case, you can send me a message at stolen 911 and submit a case. You need a private investigator. Steve, I just wrapped up a big child custody case. When I'm finding about child custody, alimony, a lot of my job as a PI has been outside of the theft cases. I'm getting hired for a lot more local court related stuff. A lot of my job as a PI, I've had about 6 good cases in the last couple of years that is just proving that people lie in court about what they make, what they earn, what they do, where they live. And they're making these accusations of court to try to get some sort of better settlement, whether it be custody issues or alimony issue or something like that. And they're lying. And so we get hired, and people, I had someone say to me, "Oh, you spy on people. What's that feel?" You know, it's like, you know what? We are seekers of the truth because we want to respect the court system. And when you put something on an affidavit that this is where I live, this is how much money I make, this is what I do. And when you're lying, and I can go there and we can prove that you're lying just by simple surveillance. That's something, you know, and I've had these cases. Just closed another one. I was amazed how I was hired by a client, say, you're going to find out this. And I've got to be susceptible to my client. They have one side of the story. And I talked to their attorney. Attorney said, yeah, we think this is going on. I was in that case 2 days, and everything that they suspected, we were able to prove in court. And it's interesting where a lot of stuff we do as PIs is just to prove find out the facts, and are the facts that the issues that are being presented to the court, are they the truth?
Yeah. You need to document it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just I was able to go in with evidence saying that is a lie. What he just said is a lie, and this is why. This, and this. And then eventually they admitted that they were caught lying. You know, in court.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. Still ongoing, actually, but that's just one of several. So if you need PI, you reach out, find us a website, Stolen 911. Do more than theft cases. Do a lot of, like I said, child custody and civil family type issues are a big deal here in the Valley. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Again, I'm Mark Hinch, retired CHP, Steve Ferdine, retired San Jose PD. Check out fugitive.com. Scott Riverderci. How's that how you say it?
Yeah.
I've been to Italy 3 times. I barely speak Italian. I'm actually from my family from Sicily. So, but yeah, thanks guys. We'll be back. I think we're gonna start moving to Tuesday nights next week or the week after. We'll start moving to Tuesday nights. Tony, hope you're available. Appreciate you. And then we're gonna take a 2-week break in the end of June, July. We'll be off for 2 weeks, but be back by the middle of July. All right, guys.
Okay.
Steve-O, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.